Welcome to the People Connect podcast. Your network is your net worth. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? Be prepared to leap out of your comfort zone and connect with the who's who of what you want to do. Stop, drop, and roll as we start, market, and grow the CEO of you. And your host, Nichelle Womack. She will help you engage, reinvest, motivate, and reactivate your plans for success.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come spend with me. My name is Nichelle Womack, and I am your life transition and business strategist. I teach the dreamers, the aspiring, and the new business owners how to transition in your life from your 9-to-5 into entrepreneurship. I do that by providing information, inspiration, and motivation to help you start, market, and grow into the CEO. If you don't know what your passion is, I also help you identify what that is. We take that passion that you think you have or that you think you enjoy, we unwrap it, then we share it with the world. And how do you do that? You learn to profit from it and you learn to build your own enterprise within that passion, because each and every one of us has a passion. Some of us have yet to understand what it is. Some of us know what it is, and we just really don't know how to take it from the beginning, make it, grow it into a business, and then operate it as a business. And that's what I teach you. I've been a business owner for over 20 years. I've worked in corporate America for over 20 years. For the last 10 years, I've been the CEO of me. I have an MBA in business, a BA in business, and I am currently pursuing a PhD in human behavior and development. What's going on in your world? Thank you for being a part of my day and my evening. And so today, what we are going to talk about are websites. And when I started my business 20 years ago, a website was not even thought about. And the more and more we look at how things are changing, technology, a website is so critical, not only if you are thinking about going into business, if you're already in business. If you're thinking about going into business, should be something that should be on your marketing strategy. A website is so critical because before people even, and most of this is for like people, older businesses, because I still deal with a lot of older businesses as well that don't have them, and they find that they may not have a need until they want to grow. If you want to grow, a website makes you global. It gives you the ability and the authority to put your business at in a place where more than your local community can see it. So when I'm talking to older business owners, I find myself helping them do way more than I find with someone who's thinking about just starting a business. People that have been in business a long time, it's really hard to get them to convert to the new way of life. And that is having a website, because they haven't had one. They've always been in the mode of word of mouth and people driving by their storefront and seeing their business there. So with the change in times of technology, what I find myself when they call me and I'm going into their business, I'm helping them with social media, at least getting up started on their social media platforms, getting them a Facebook, getting them an Instagram, getting them a Twitter account. But the most requested that I always get is to set them up with a Facebook account. And upon getting their Facebook account, like currently right now, I manage about 15 Facebook accounts for different small businesses within my local community. And most of them are older businesses that have been there, or they don't have a lot of tech savvy. So that is the first thing. And that could constitute for your website, especially if funds are limited. And that's what I recommend to them. Try Facebook out first, because there is a lot of reach out there with Facebook, especially in your local community, if you are just starting out with your social media marketing strategy. And so once we get them up on there, I make them aware and remind them that you don't own Facebook. So if Facebook decides to shut down, or if Facebook decides to cut your account off, which they typically do under some circumstances, especially if you don't have it aligned correctly as a business, then they'll get you or ding you and say that you're not following the practices of Facebook. So I teach them how to do that first, and then how to build a strategy of promoting their business online. And we use that as their first platform for a website. Once they grow and expand from there, I start to teach them other avenues of marketing their business, other services that they can provide within their business. And then we build them a website. Now, I personally don't do that because I'm not that tech savvy, but I have people that work with me that do that. But I know, as I mentioned, as a business owner, new business owner, especially, you need to have some place for your customers to go. And I don't care if you are MLM, multi-level marketing, direct sales, or if you getting a product that you're establishing. I got a guy that's doing barbecue sauce right now. And the first thing that we're doing right now is setting up him a Facebook page because he has no idea of where to go to do that. And then from there, he's getting his website built so he can have his products and things on there and people can order directly from the website. And so when I'm talking to new business owners as well as established business owners, those that have been in the market for quite some time and they're transcending to the new way of doing business through technology and online, I'm talking about them about several things. And you can literally, even if you're not tech savvy, you don't even have to have any coding skills or anything of that sort. You can go to Yola, Wix, WordPress.com, Weebly, and Webs and start your own website. If nothing else, just to put a picture up there of your business, what you do, some of your products, who you are, and things of that nature. And I'm going to go into that when I start discussing some of the things that as a new business owner that you need to have in your website. And so that's what I direct my clients to when we first start talking about developing them a platform online. And I say to this, everybody, if you don't have your business online, then you literally are not in business. You may be well known in your local community, but that can only get you so far. And as a new business owner, I always expand on the fact that we need to start thinking bigger and better. You know, a lot of the people that I work with that are older, thank you so much for the love that you're sharing. I greatly appreciate that. All of my older business people that I've been doing business with for quite some time, either as a real estate broker, I sold them a location for their current business, or, they came to me because they're thinking about selling their business and I'm putting their property on the market, or they need some insurance and I'm working with them in that capacity. And then I work with them for the small business as well. Thank you so much. So with that being said, as I mentioned, you can get a free website on Facebook. And if you don't have any money, which most first-time business owners don't, start there first. It's free. It will enable you to get your platform out there, your name and your recognition. You can start sharing it on your personal page to ask your friends to share it and to support you from there, going into some groups and things of that nature. But from there, you need to grow and you need to build. And that's where those free websites, as I mentioned to you, come into play. So let's mention what are we going to talk about? What new entrepreneurs need to have in their website? Now, this is so critical that you have these things in your website because, again, when you're online, it's like someone coming into your storefront, and these things need to be present. Otherwise, people won't pay attention to it. And the first thing that you need to really get is a domain name. And I always advise people, when you are getting a domain name, make certain that your domain name is not long. I was working with a lady last week, I think it was last Wednesday, we were working together. She had the longest domain name, .com, that I can ever think of in my life. And I'm like, how do you expect people to remember that? Even on her business cards, it took up the whole business card. So that's something that you really, 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 really want to be mindful of when you are thinking of a domain name. Think of something catchy, something that people can relate to right away, and something that's not too long, because who wants to be typing on their computer all day your domain name? So keep that in mind. That's the first thing. And try to make it in relation to your business. If you're doing hats, I have a customer that designs hats, and she makes the felt types of hats, and she puts ribbons and bows on them and stuff. And so her website, when we were coming up with the hatsandbows.com. And so that's something that she uses on a regular basis. It gets her pull through, feed through, and people go there to click it. And then we found that somebody had that website already. So we had to go and look for another one because they were trying to charge her an upcharge to own that domain name. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Have a good arsenal of different names that you would like to utilize in your business, and make certain that it's catchy and that it resonates with the product or service that you're offering. The first thing that you really do need to have in your website, if you are a new business owner, is you need to have an About Me page, or a page to establish who you are. People don't know who you are. Remember I said when you're coming into someone's web page, that's like a web store, somebody walking into your brick and mortar store, you need to have an identification as to who you are. Why do I want to know you is something that should be on there. What can you do for me? What can you do for me? The service, the products that you're offering, and what makes your business different from the other ones that are out there. Why should I come to your website versus others? And then the next thing is, why should I follow you? All of that should be a pun in your what about me page or about me page so that people know who they're dealing with. The second thing that new entrepreneurs and anybody that's in business should have on their web pages, you should be very specific and clear in your purpose for being in business, why you're in business, how long you've been in business, what type of experience you have in the business that you're doing, and what makes you the quote unquote expert. And I'm always kind of leery of that term expert. I personally don't like to use it in my business. I will tell you that I'm very experienced in what I do. Tell you that I've been doing it over 20 years, helping people to start businesses, helping people to grow business, market them, build them, expand them, and dominate in them. I can tell you that with pure confidence. However, to say that you are an expert, that means nobody out there is greater and better than you. And we all know that that's not true. There's always someone out there that's better than what we are and what we can offer. The thing is to have as I say all the time in my messages that I'm working with people, you have to have that unique selling proposition that makes you different. What products and services, you can have the same product as someone else, but what makes yours different from theirs? And that's how you set yourself apart, because literally we all have competition, and competition is good. You actually learn from your competition. As I say all the time, again, I think one thing that we need to do is work together as competitors, because what we're doing is trying to meet a need in the market. And when you grow and meet that need in the market, not only do the people that you work with have respect for you, but the people around you as well. And customers see that. Customers don't like, the one-on-one debate. In fact, sometimes they will play you against each other. I like to use it as a scenario of kids playing mom against dad, because I know my children used to do that all the time when they were little, play mom against dad. And I'm like, really? You're not going to do this, but they'll play mom against dad. So look at that in business as well. One customer may say, well, this one down the street did that. And then, they'll say, if you can do this, then I'll come here and do business with you. You literally have to be mindful of that, because that's really a sales pitch on their end. Is it something that you're offering that's more valuable? Maybe you need to piggyback on those things that you do. What makes yours different from everybody else? So you need to be specific in your message on your website that you're delivering to buyers, so that they don't come to you and say, well, Bob down the street is offering this. Why aren't you offering that? So we need to be very clear on that. You need to learn how to handle resistance up front, because when you're able to handle resistance up front, it takes away from all the bittering, the arguing, and things of that nature. Perhaps maybe having some testimonies on there of how your product or service has worked for other people. That's always helpful if you can get that. Something else you want to always do, if an issue arises, you want to make certain that you address that issue immediately. We know through all kinds of resources online, people can go on and write articles and say how you treated them, how the business treated them, the results that they got, the things that they didn't get. And we know that can really destroy your business. Even though it is online, it's still word of mouth, and that word of mouth can travel for miles and miles ahead. So keep in mind that if an issue arises, you want to be able to nip it in the bud right away. And what I always advise my clients to do, get in contact with that person immediately, right when you see it happen, or if it comes to your awareness. For example, I had a client today, someone posted on their Facebook page, and they called me and asked me how should they respond. And I said, well, you should call them up, because you know who this customer is, and you should try to handle the situation right away. They've already posted it there. And I think that's good, because it lets people know, first of all, that nobody's perfect. No business is perfect. There's going to be some flips and some flaws in there. But if you address it, then perhaps maybe they'll go back on there and say, yeah, I was unhappy with this, but they came back and they rectified the situation. I think that makes you look bigger and better than anything, especially if they put it on there and it never goes answered. That really makes it look bad. So address issues and worries up front. The third thing you want to be able to do, I truly believe that benefits tell and features tell and benefits sell. And I learned that in pharmaceutical sales, that's something that we always had to do. We had to go into the physician's office and share with them the features of it. And then we had to hit them with the benefits, because we knew that if they knew the benefits that their patients would get, then they would be more apt to use our drug over the others. So it's so important to share with people the benefits that you're going to give them by working with them. Some things that I always like to put out there. What are you offering? You need to share what you're offering on your website. Why should I buy from you? Things of that nature. What is your product going to do for me that somebody else's product isn't going to do? Is it going to make me live 5 years longer? Is it going to make my skin stay beautiful? Is it going to make my hair grow? You need to share those things so that people have a understanding of why they're coming to your page and what you're offering from there. And then how can it help me? People always want to know what you can do to help them. I mean, that's why people research. That's why people seek out information. How can you help me? Where do I go? Where do I go to buy? I know I've gone to some people's pages, and when I go to the page, it's like, where do I push the buy button? Even if am interested in buying, where do I go buy? And so you got to make it very clear. They have buy buttons from PayPal that you can put on there, and depending on the type of software that you have on there, all of those things can be integrated into your website. Even WordPress has that, but you have to go to wordpress.org in order to get it. The free sites typically don't offer that buy button in there, and that's when you have to upgrade. So that's, again, when you're recognizing that you are growing in your business and that you need to expand your marketing efforts in your website. Now, Facebook does offer a buy button, so you can use that, as I mentioned, to start off, but it does give limited resources. And eventually, I can only assume that they're going to start charging for that as well, at least getting a percentage of what you offer for sale. And so when is this available? I've seen that. Someone was selling me some hair gel, hair butter. And it was on there, but it never did say when it was to be available. It was out of stock. It had out of stock, but it did not say when it will be available. So it's always good to put that there so we'll keep a reminder, or set up some type of email system that when the people come to your website, they can sign up to know when it will become available. The next thing you need to do, who is this message for? As I say all the time, everybody is not your customer. And being that everybody is not your customer, you need to address specifically who your customer is. And you need to be able to hit their hot buttons and make sure you get into their mind, their mindset, something that will activate their reasoning to wanting to be on your website, to push that buy button. And when you learn to trigger down on your message, it becomes clear. And I know as a first-time business owner, sometimes it's hard. Heck, even as a long-term business owner, that's sometimes hard, because I know through my 20 years of business, I see my clientele changing. They're becoming more, I have more millennials now that I'm working with. So you have to be up to speed with those people that you plan on working with. The older people, I have to stay in tune with them as well, because I know that they're not up on all the technology and things that are available now for people that are working. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So you want to be very specific in the market and be aware of their needs. What do they need in their market? And as I mentioned, the older population that's been in business for a while, every time I walk in there, they're like, I need some help with social media. That's the first thing that they say when I'm speaking to them about their business. In fact, I just put a guy's shop on the market a couple of days ago. He has a print shop. And he's like, I just can't keep up with online. I can't keep up with the competitors around. He's an older guy, been in business for quite some time, and he's selling his shop. He's selling the business, actually. And so when I asked him, I said, so what is it that you're struggling with? You're having a hard time hearing me? I literally think is this where I am. Thank you so much for sharing that. Can you hear me now? Thank you for making me aware, because I put everything on my podcast, and I surely would hate to have been speaking up here all this time and you could not hear me. So maybe I need to wear my earphones, because I literally think it's the room I'm in or my phone. That might be it too. I don't know. Update technology. I have the latest and the greatest, so I don't know what the problem is. But thank you for making me aware. I greatly appreciate you. And I'm assuming from the hearts you can hear me now. And so we want to keep that in mind when we're talking about our message. Who Who are you delivering it to? It got to be clear. It must be clear. There cannot be any loops or gaps in it as to who your target market is. Yes, you love me and my show, and I greatly appreciate you for loving me and my show. I love you for loving my show. So thank you so much for being a part of it. I greatly appreciate you. My ultimate goal is always to share value. As I mentioned, after being in business over 20 years, a lot of the things what I share with you guys is either I'm learning it as being in business this long, or I've made some bleeps and blunders over my 20 years. And I said, no, I will not do that again. And I've been working with a lot of new and small business owners that have been in business, some longer than myself, and trying to help them get on track with the new things that are going on. A lot of times it's very difficult. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And that purple love, I greatly appreciate you. So that is what I try to do. I try to provide value each and every time that I come on here. I don't come on here unless I got something of value to share. Yeah, I'm sure you know that by now. I do my 5-minute power punch in the morning, and that is really to rejuvenate you, to give you some fire, to help you get started in your day and to help you think. A lot of times in business, we negate the fact that it takes a lot of thinking. It takes a lot of thinking to help keep us on track and to get on track in life and in business. Because if your life isn't together, I promise you, your business is not going to be together either. And so we must be able to manage them both effectively and create that balance in our life. And as a new business owner, when I first started, that was very difficult. And I didn't even have children back then. Didn't have children. What type of business would you suggest starting? As with that question is always brought to me. And I always tell people, you must do something that you're passionate about, and that's what I do. I help you find your passion. And if you don't know what it is, we just do a survey. I do a survey with everybody that comes to me for consultation, and we talk to them about, things that they like to do. Because even if you like to do it, that don't mean you want to make it as a business. It could be a hobby, because there's a big distinction between hobby and business. A business should be profitable that you're doing. You don't go into business not to make any money, because you're going to have expenses as being in business. So when people ask me what business I think they should go into, I think you should go into something that you're passionate about. But make sure that if you're going into something that you're passionate about, that it's profitable as well. I'm passionate about gardening. I love gardening. And I know that there could be an opportunity there to make a profit, but I'm not that passionate about it. So I think it would, if I were to do it to be profitable, it wouldn't make much money because I'm not that passionate about it. But I love to do it. And it's more like a hobby. So that's the distinguishing factor there. Would it be better to get in a business with not as many competitors? That's a great question. And then, I would say personally, you really need to look at what it is, because there is not one business that you're going to get into that doesn't have a lot of competitors. There are some niche markets out there, but you really have to look at it. Are people really drawn to them? And if this is something really distinctive, then you're just going to be sitting there, just going to be sitting like a lame duck. So think about that. And I just stressed that a little earlier in my conversation. I like competition because I learn from my competitors. I learn what to do, what not to do, and what to make better. And so competitors don't scare me. I just never been afraid of competition. Do you think there's good money in foot modeling? Yeah. There's some foot models out there. And if that's something that you choose to do, if you got pretty feet, if you know somebody that has pretty feet, then go for it. Yes. People do it all the time. Hello, how are you? And so opportunity really is what you create. There's opportunity for any type of business. I don't think there's any bad business, as long as it's legal and profitable and that you can, make ends meet on it, or actually exceed ends meet. I don't like ends meet. I like to exceed meet. So exceed things. So you have to look at that. What is good for you? What is it that you enjoy? What is something that can create the lifestyle that you desire? Those are the things that you should look at. Now, I do know people that are in businesses. I have a couple of friends that manage businesses in silent, and they're not really interested in the business. They just like the portfolio and the profit that comes behind it. They have someone that manages it. And as I mentioned, also, you need to have some form of testimonials to make them aware. And then you need to create awareness in your website. website. I just started a new foundation up under one of my nonprofits that I currently have, and it's called Be That Woman. And I'm still formulating everything right now, but I'm in the process of making it a national campaign that I'm doing. And it's up under one of my nonprofits, as I mentioned. And in that campaign, I'm creating awareness about women and some things that we need to do as women to improve our lives. People always say, well, then what about the men? I truly believe that if the woman is together, the men are going to be all right. Because women, we do so many different things. We do so many different things to keep our families together, to keep our, homes together, to keep our children together, to keep our marriages and relationships together. So Be That Woman, that campaign, I started that actually about a year ago, but I really didn't get into full stream with it until probably about maybe 6 months ago, starting to put the footsteps together. And now I'm pretty much at the point where I'm going to launch it very soon. And I kind of preemptively spoke of it, but it's pretty much in existence right now. So I'm glad that is the case. Welcome back. And so, but you want to create awareness, especially if you are in business. You want to create awareness for what you're offering to your clients. The next thing that I want to make you aware that your website should contain, that your website should, and then share. It's always critical to ask people to share. And sometimes I kind of fall back on that, with social media, because everybody, again, is not your customer. But those people that they're sharing to, they may know somebody that needs your information, needs your product, or needs your services. And so it's always good to have share buttons on your website. And there are some places, and I can't think of the name of it right now, that you can go to get free little buttons that you can put on your website that will also be profitable for you too in the long run, that will allow you to earn residual income in the process of people sharing the information that you have on there. So those are the 5 things that I mentioned to you that as a new business owner, I think you should have on your website, especially, if you have transcended from the Facebook page, from the free sites into a paid site where you can get your service and your product out there and people become more aware of what you do. As I mentioned again, if you are in business and you are not online, then you are not in business. You can connect with me at 2excelwithmichelle.com. All of my connections are on my website page. So it's very key. And just a side note about websites, let me tell you a little incident that happened to me. About 2 weeks ago, actually probably was longer than maybe 3 weeks ago, I noticed that one of my social media sites was gone. And I'm like, where the heck did it go? Where the heck did it go? And here comes the importance of a website. As I mentioned earlier, Facebook, all these websites, all of these social media platforms, they're not yours. You own your website, especially when you get the paid version. And so when you're looking at it like that, they can shut down. So as I was saying, one of my social media sites was shut down, and it was shut down because they told me that I was operating as a business. Well, I said, thank you, because I am a business, but I did not know that you had to have it on there, because I go to people's pages all the time and they don't have it on there. And so I wrote into the company, and this is where voicing your opinion really matters. Voicing my opinion. I picked up all kinds of sites that didn't have that on there. And I said, how many times do people come across your site that are perverts? They come on Periscope, perverts, showing you things that you don't even want to see. That Periscope should have a different even site for those type of people that, want to talk about all that stuff. People that are on here sharing information, doing business, go somewhere else, really. Go somewhere else with that. But, so after I started talking to them and I actually had full conversation with them, they were like, oh, we're sorry. We didn't mean to do this, because I stressed my opinion. I was very vocal about it. Next thing I know, a couple of days, it was back up. But if I did not have my website, I would not have had a place for people to go. In fact, someone came to my website, and one of the sites that I have on there, they were able to chat with me and make me aware. I had shared something on my site, and they were trying to share it with someone else, and they came and told me on my website that it wasn't there. That was the only way that I knew it wasn't there. And I was so thankful that I had taken the step already. I've always had a website, but I had taken the step to make it more user-friendly, that people can go there and communicate with me. So yes, that is so key. Make sure that when you are in business, you own the things that you have that make you unique, because all of these other tools and resources, even Periscope, that are out here, don't belong to us. And we've seen through history that things can shut down. We've seen Blab, and we saw Catch, and all of those different things shut down because of low funding or not funding at all or not being profitable, but they go out of business. Businesses go out of business every day. Talk to 3 friends today, they're losing their jobs. And now they're seeking some other things to do. So with that being said, it's always key as a business person to own what you're marketing, own your worth, own your products, own your services, own everything you do to be the CEO of you. Is so key and so important. That is my message. I thank each and every one of you for coming in. This broadcast will only be up this evening. I am taking it down. So all my replay viewers, if you come in, thank you so much for tapping that screen. If you are here with me, thanks for tapping that screen. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for coming in today. May everything you touch turn to gold. Be blessed and highly favored. If you want to catch this, you can catch it at the People Connect podcast. That's where it will be. Again, thanks for your time. Be blessed and highly favored, and I will talk with you later tomorrow for your 5-minute power punch between 8:30 and 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.